Live from the studios of AuroraTV and the Aurora Municipal Center, this is Election Night 2015.
Welcome back to our live coverage of Election Night 2015. I'm Wendy Brockman. Tonight we've been covering the Aurora election of 3 ward council members, 2 at-large council members, a mayor who's running unopposed, and the results of a single Aurora ballot question. Let's quickly go through all of those returns as we have them right now. Just a reminder, these returns represent the tallied result across the 3 counties that Aurora straddles, and while we have confidence in their accuracy, we want to stress that these are still unofficial. All right, let's check out Ward 4. Let's see how we're doing. Charlie Richardson has increased his lead over Joe Lewis. And in Ward 5, Bob Roth, the incumbent, has a clear lead over Sherry McElhiney and Livia Payne. We just heard from Bob Roth. He's feeling very relieved after seeing those numbers. In Ward 6, Françoise Bergean, we just spoke to, she has a clear lead over Brian Arnold and PK Kaiser, all newcomers to the political scene. And the at-large candidates, Bob Laguerre and Angela Lawson, are in the lead, which is interesting because Debbie Hunter-Holen was one of the incumbents. And then Maya Wheeler is trailing in 4th place. The mayoral election, Steve Hogan running unopposed for a 2nd term. We talked to him in the studio, and he's very relaxed tonight, anxious to just watch the rest of the results. And here we have ballot question 2J. We have some updated numbers here. The no vote is stronger than the yes vote. So far, voters are saying no to economic incentives to possibly bringing motorsports facilities to Aurora. All right, we have some results for school board. We have 7 candidates who've been running for 3 school board seats in Aurora Public Schools. And who do we have in the lead?
Right now in Aurora Public Schools, Dan Jorgensen, an incumbent, returning with 7,470 votes. Kathy Wildman is in 2nd at 7,405, right behind Dan. And then Monica Colbert at 6,673. These are the 3 top vote getters right now. Early in the election process.
Dan Jorgensen has a doctorate in education. Kathy Wildman was a teacher for 40 years, both very qualified. Monica Colbert, she's kind of the mom on the scene now. She has 2 daughters who are in the Aurora Public School District, and we have some results from Cherry Creek, the school board, as well. There are 3 of 5 seats that were up. Seats A and C are running unopposed, so B is the only question. I think there are, how many, 5 candidates running for that?
There are. Right now in District B, Janice McDonald is leading with 11,830 votes, and Dave Erstad is right back about 9,505 votes. So pretty competitive in that race at that time.
And Janice McDonald, she's running actually to replace her daughter-in-law.
That's correct.
Claudine McDonald,
yes,
who was term limited. So it's a family affair there in District B for Cherry Creek School Board. All right, Lane is in the lobby, and he has one of our at-large candidates, Angela Lawson, with us. Hello.
Well, I got to tell you, I'm speaking with someone who really has become the story of the night. I wish you could see all the photographers that are around us right now. Angela Lawson currently leading over incumbent Debbie Hunter-Holen. How is that feeling for you?
It feels unbelievable because when I ran in 2013, it was tough to beat incumbents. And I thought this time, even though I ran a really good race, was very organized, had a lot of support, I still had that dash of I'm still coming up against incumbents.
What do you think made the difference?
I think this time I was organized. I had a really good team. Me getting out there and really walking like I did even in 2013, but doing even more of that and really interacting with the constituents. I think that's really what made a difference.
We saw some support from the safety community.
Yes.
Do you think that made a difference as well?
I think that made a difference as well. I mean, their support from behind me for public safety, I think that made a really big difference as well.
Okay, well, it's still very close.
Yes.
I know you're very excited.
Yes.
Your parents are here.
My mom and dad are here. I don't know what I would do without them. They've been my greatest support system.
Oh,
So.
You should have brought him over here. We'd love to talk to him. Hey, Wendy wants to ask you a question from our studio.
Okay. Hi, Wendy.
Hello, Angela. It's nice to see that big smile on your
Oh,
face.
thank you.
2 years ago, you weren't smiling this big.
Yeah, I wasn't. It was my first time, though.
Yeah, you're an old pro now. Hey, you've lived in Southeast Aurora for how long?
For 14
years. So you've seen all the growth that's going on out there. How do we tackle this?
Well, I think we we have to look at things from a perspective. We have a big thing going up ahead of us, and working with council. I'm hoping that we can come up with some solutions to deal with this growth. I deal with it every day, and I think with working with council, and I think some of the new ideas that some of the new council members have, I think we'll come up with something that's really going to make the city a little bit better to move around in. So it's a big issue, but I'm ready to step forward and make a difference and provide my input on council about it.
Now, do you have some plans right away? If this continues to go your way, what would you say is priority one for you?
For me, it's really learning council. Really kind of getting involved and kind of learning the ropes. I think that's what's going to be important for me at first before and then tackle the issues, but really learning the ropes of council and learning from some of the best that are sitting on council.
Very good. We have another question for you.
With Angela, it's Kevin. Congratulations.
Hi, Kevin.
Doing a great job. With 3 master's degree and a vast experience at the state, how will you bring your state experience over to the city?
Well, that's a good question, Kevin. For me, because I've had 10 years of public service already, that's going to be really valuable, I think, in bringing when I'm making decisions on council. So I think with my collaboration, working with different agencies, working with different groups, people within the organizations, leadership, I think that's going to be very valuable for me in terms of just bringing what I can bring to council as well. So,
another question.
You have a question, Debbie?
Yes, I do. Hi, Angela.
We're having a little trouble hearing Debbie out here.
Okay, hi, Angela. It's great for the results
Wendy,
that you're
we might have to
getting.
send it back to you. We can see Debbie asking a question, but we can't. Are you able to hear her?
no, I cannot hear.
Okay.
Well, thank you so much, Angela. We're going to
you.
watch these numbers very closely and follow back up with you a little bit later this evening.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Okay, we'll send it back to you.
Thank you. Yeah, Angela has worked with the Colorado Secretary of State's office for 10 years, so she does have some experience in the political arena. All right, there is a single ballot question from Aurora this year, ballot question 2J. It asks voters if they want to repeal a ban on incentives for motorsports facilities or racetracks. So let's get more detail on this ballot question.
In 1999, the Aurora City Charter was amended to prohibit the city from providing direct or indirect subsidies to motorsports facilities. Ballot question 2J asks voters to repeal this ban and restore City Council's authority to provide economic incentives for motorsports facilities within Aurora. Ballot question 2J is unanimously endorsed by Aurora Mayor Steve Hogan and the entire City Council. They believe a yes vote will improve quality of life in Aurora by creating jobs, growing our economy, and attracting visitors who will contribute millions of dollars to our city each year.
All right, let's see if voters are thinking this is a good idea or not for the city to offer financial incentives. Right now, they're saying no. 17,896 no and 16,722 yes. Kevin, you're the president of the Aurora Chamber of Commerce. The chamber unanimously supports 2J. Do you think people are confused by the issue because there's really no opposition to it?
I do believe they're confused. What I really, and why the chamber was really behind this, is we like to see our determination by Aurora people. This was done in 1999 by a bunch of investors out of New York City, to be honest with you. It was done south of Colorado Springs by another group of investors. And so this was put on the ballot, but it was never an initiative by Aurora citizens or Aurora business people. And so I just personally don't like outsiders coming in trying to tell us how to run our business all the time. And that's why I was really interested in seeing 2J pass, so that we could really grab our own destiny in our own hands and let the voters and let the people in Aurora determine that, and not $400,000 in a campaign back in 1999 from a group of New Yorkers. So,
and that's no longer relevant. The reason that it made it into the charter is kind of old news.
It really is, but it really is, again, outside monies, big monies coming in, determining a race, and that's unfortunate. I think this is boiled down to that, unfortunately, 2J was just not known.
Debbie, there aren't any plans to bring racing here, but this was, changing the language in the charter, because what if there were a possibility that could come along?
Right, and as Mayor Hogan said earlier, this could open up some potential proposals, which would be a wonderful coup for the city of Aurora to bring in this kind of sport. And to think about some of those possibilities, another opportunity for our citizens to enjoy a different kind of sport. We have some pro football game, or pro teams, football, baseball, and basketball. We have active hockey and soccer in town. We have skiing and snowboarding not very far away. So it would be really nice to kind of round out all of our sports options with potentially some race cars.
The term economic incentives in that language may be scaring people off, not quite understanding exactly what
people
that would
don't
mean.
like that word of incentives. They see it as not always the best use of city funds or giving something away. So a lot of people don't understand that. And there was not a whole lot of literature available on this particular issue. You didn't see a whole lot of that coming to the House or on the news and things like that.
That can make a difference.
Yeah.
Long-term council member Molly Merkert is term limited this year. Our election night reporter Christina Savon visited with her as she reflected on both her accomplishments and work that remains to be done for her replacement in Ward 4.
The two things that I've taken the most pleasure in are helping people solve their own problems. On the Havana Business Corridor, we had a decaying area, a lot of demands on the city, no resources, and facilitating the business owners and the residents, we came up with the notion of doing a business improvement district. Similarly, up at Heather Ridge at the golf course, to be able to decide to become a metro district and run an election. And we won the metro district vote with 84% of the vote. So by helping people solve their own problems, being part of the city, but not expecting the city to solve them, I think those are the two biggest accomplishments.
Along with her successes, Molly believes the issue of affordable housing still needs addressing.
The good news is Aurora's growing and booming. The bad news is for people that don't have either several incomes or sources of income, it's harder and harder to find affordable housing. So I want to see us do more of that.
She also hopes the city continues reaching out to the next generation.
For civic engagement, I'm not sure we're tapping the future of how people, especially young people, want to be engaged. You don't want to come out to a meeting at 7 o'clock and raise your hand. I mean, you make decisions other ways. And I think we need to capitalize on that to get fresh new thinking on council. And I hope the new council is open to looking at those ways of making decisions.
One thing Molly is certain of is the future of Aurora is in its diversity.
1 in 5 people in Aurora is born in a country other than the United States and represents a diversity of food, of wisdom, of worldliness, of culture. I want our future to be a mix of all those thoughts, not the same old, same old. And I really want that for the future of the city.
Over the decades, Molly has seen Aurora grow up, presenting both challenges and opportunities.
We're not a sleepy little suburb anymore. The street doesn't roll up at 10 o'clock. I've, amazingly enough, been on Havana at 2 o'clock in the morning, and it's quite exciting. So we have to embrace that big cityness, that urbanness. There are challenges with that. Certainly we have people and legitimate concerns about traffic, infrastructure, safety, public safety, response times, those city things. But those are solved in big cities when they're acknowledged as it's part of an urban environment. We have homelessness. We have people that are urban in our suburban community, and we're not suburban anymore. We have to acknowledge that, and we have to solve urban problems with an urban mentality. And that's going to be a challenge because it's a change.
Her final thoughts recognize the professionalism of city staff and encourages citizens to get involved.
I have two things actually that I want to say. One is as I say, it's been a college education crammed into Monday nights and whatnot, but throughout all of it, I am absolutely, totally impressed with the professionalism of the staff in terms of their commitment to the city, their professionalism, both in terms of their own career passion, but just to the city and their commitment. The loyalty is phenomenal. And the other thing I'd say to the citizens is to stay involved. So there's something in the city for everybody to choose to get involved with, and it's hard with families and working and school and car shuffling and carpooling and everything else. But there's a way to contribute for everybody, and we need it, and to encourage citizens to find something to do that gets off the front porch and out into the neighborhood and into the community.
She is leaving big shoes to fill, and there are two candidates who would love to do it. Let's see the latest results right now. Charlie Richardson is leading over Joe Lewis, who's the political newcomer. He's lived in Aurora for a long time, but Charlie Richardson, he's a former city attorney. He even served as interim city manager. He's more of a familiar face around here at City Hall, and that may, Kevin, have given him the edge.
You know, I think Charlie does have that name recognition, and he had a little bit of a jump on Joe also. Very competitive race. One of our neighborhood activists, Arnie Schultz, was one of the original candidates too. And so, but Charlie has ran a great campaign, and yet I think we're all been very impressed with Joe also.
He has a long track record of service in Aurora. This is an interesting fact about him. His first job out of law school was as a traffic court bailiff in Aurora. He's been around for a while.
Yep.
Yeah,
Tried a lot of different things.
Yeah,
yes.
I'm sure he's feeling very excited tonight, and you know, Joe Lewis isn't that far behind, so
He's ran a great race.
He has run a very good race, and we'll keep an eye on that as well. All right. We have a guest in the lobby here with Lane Lyon. Hello.
We do, and I have Sue Sandstrom, Arapahoe County Treasurer, with me. And she's here because she is a former Aurora City Council member, served from 2003 to 2010. And why was it important that you came here tonight, do you think?
Well, I came over mainly to say goodbye to Molly Markert and Bob Broom, and I haven't seen Bob here tonight, but we got elected together in 2003. They have done incredible work on City Council. There are so many wonderful things that have happened in Aurora. Some of them are completed, some of them are still ongoing. I love Aurora. I wanted to see the mayor and congratulate him and our new council members, and so I came over.
Well, and you can relate to what this night is like.
Oh, I can relate.
When you're watching those results come in, can you describe what's going through your mind?
It's very nerve-wracking. Until those results come up, and I have won elections and I've lost one, so I know how it feels, but it's very, very nerve-wracking. People don't realize how hard it is to run for office. You really have to put yourself out there. You get criticized by a lot of people, and seeing your name on the ballot the first time is a pretty special thing. Seeing your yard signs in somebody's yard who you don't even know who they are, it makes you feel pretty good. But City Council is a really important position in our city, and we have great council members. They do a good job, and we have an awesome city. So I wanted to be here tonight.
Well, I'm glad you are. And Wendy has a question from our studio.
Hi, Sue.
Hi, Wendy.
Curious what your thoughts are on 2J on this racetrack issue that's developing tonight.
I guess I'm just really surprised.
Yeah.
There was no formal opposition to it. I guess people just remember some of the negative stuff that happened years and years ago. I was really surprised that it would go down, because I think it's really important for Aurora to have economic development tools available to them, and I have no explanation for how it could have happened.
Well, we're looking at those numbers right now, and you can see that that's exactly what you were talking about.
So many people who live in Aurora now weren't even around when that passed years ago, so I don't know if it was the way the ballot question was worded or what happened, but I'm disappointed to see it go down.
Okay, well, we're grateful to have you
My
here.
pleasure.
Can you describe the energy? The crowd is kind of
It's a
tapering.
pretty low energy crowd tonight.
It really is. Any surprises with the results that you've seen tonight? Other than 2J?
No, not too surprised. Some close races. but there's always some close races, and you have incredibly good people running, and so you can't be too surprised about who wins. So,
Sue Sandstrom, thank you
My
for
pleasure.
being with us, and we'll send it back to you, Wendy.
Thank you very much. Our other term-limited council member is Bob Broom in Ward 6. He's been a long-term council member and the Aurora City manager before that. He's accomplished a lot during his tenure with the city and sat down with us to talk about his accomplishments and the challenges and opportunities ahead.
If you go back to 2003 when I first got elected to city council, Colorado was experiencing a terrible drought, and the city's water reservoirs reached about 20% capacity, and that's when we embarked on the Prairie Waters Project. And that's one of the major projects I think that the city was able to accomplish while I was on city council. And I served on the water committee for the city, and it came in $100 million under budget and on time.
As pleased as Bob was with the success of Prairie Waters, he has the opposite reaction to the legalization of marijuana.
While we're enjoying revenues from that we're now putting into transportation projects and recreation facilities, the social costs that are involved with that are going to be tremendous going down the road. The other thing is, if there's a lot of firms that won't hire you if you can't pass a drug test, or you can get fired if you have marijuana in your bloodstream.
He also has some advice for new city council members.
One of the biggest problems that's unmet in the city right now is transportation funding. The gas tax hasn't been increased since 1993, so the purchasing power of that gas tax is 50% of what it was in 1993, which means that we don't have enough money to maintain and improve our road system. So they need to come up with a new dedicated revenue source for transportation.
In the years ahead, he sees some big changes for Aurora.
Well, there's going to be a huge change up near Denver International Airport with the Gaylord project being built in there and the number of conventions and so forth that they're going to bring in. I think you're going to see Front Range Airport blossom and go forward. I don't know whether it becomes a spaceport or whether it becomes just a big, almost like a Denver Tech Center in essence. There's also the possibility of the NASCAR, somebody coming in and putting in, a large track facility and entertainment area.
And as for any parting words,
well, I think we should all be thankful for what a great city staff that we have. Clear across the board. We have recognized police and fire departments. We just got word that the American Water Works Association just recognized our water utility for excellence, one of the top 10 water works in the entire country. All across the board, we have excellent people.
We have come to the end of our second full hour of live election night programming. After a short break, we'll be back for our final 30 minutes of tonight's coverage, bringing you the latest returns and more interviews and analysis. All that as Election Night 2015 coverage continues.
On July 20th, 2012, my family's life changed forever. My brother was one of 12 lives lost. So many of us share stories of loss, recovery, and the need for something positive.
It's really a blank slate, and we can watch it grow. Join us as we turn this into a memorial garden for the entire community.
A place for reflection, for finding peace, and for healing.
We could put a bench there, put some kind of natural flowers in this space as well.
Please help the 720 Memorial Foundation create this garden, a special place for everyone.